Hey everybody, welcome back to Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly. And today we have kind of a special show. And as those of you who've been watching the channel for a number of years will remember, we used to have a regular news segment. And there's our news helicopter flying overhead right now. Yes, we are in the car again. Hey, y'all seem to be enjoying the car videos quite a bit. So we'll probably be doing this for a couple more weeks until we figure out a little bit different strategy. But there's the helicopter overhead. And it's bringing us a lot of Las Vegas news today. And that's why this week's segment is called Weekend Update. Because I wanted to fill you in on a lot of the things that have been happening in Las Vegas and will be happening in Las Vegas actually before the end of the year. And they're going to basically take two forms, really. There's a lot of sports things going on, and there's a lot of hotel-related things going on, and a few others. So let's go ahead and get started. A few people have asked about whether or not we'll be doing a live at some point this month. I think we might go ahead and try to do a live the last Wednesday of May. Stay tuned on that. We will definitely let you know well in advance if we do. We're on the soda today because it's hot outside, and we're actually sitting in the back of our car today. This lighting's a little bit better, and it's I can leave the back hatch open, and it's also a lot cooler. Anyway, so we'll start in with the hotel information. And again, the hotel information kind of ties in with some stuff going on in terms of Vegas sports. And a few years ago, we did a full segment just talking about sports in Las Vegas and how much it's changed. And that change just continues. Professional sports in particular is just snowballing inside the Las Vegas Valley. And we'll go ahead and start out with that, actually, because we want to talk about the fact that the Oakland A's now appear to be about 95% likely to move to Las Vegas in the very near future. There's a couple of stadium proposals. We'll talk about those here in just a moment. Scheduled to open probably 2027, but it's very likely that the A's will move prior to that and play at the minor league ballpark, which some of you may recall is way up in Summerlin. It's kind of close to Red Rock and Suncoast and some of those casinos there. And by all accounts, it's a really nice ballpark, pretty small ballpark, but hey, if you've seen the attendance figures in Oakland lately, can't get much worse. So anyway, that's coming up. Now, there are a couple of proposals that have been put on the table. Originally, and by originally I mean just a few weeks ago, it looked like there was going to be a stadium built on a site that was owned by Station Casinos, and until very recently had hosted, and may still, I don't know, is it still open? The Wild Wild West Casino. And there you hear the Wild Wild West right here in Nebraska. Lots of vrooming engines, but that property was set to be moved to the Oakland A's, and they were going to build the stadium there, which was interesting because we really hadn't heard that rumor up to that time. But now, just a few days ago, it now looks like the rumor of the baseball stadium being where currently Tropicana is now looks like the most likely outcome. Apparently, it would involve less public funding, which is an issue. I mean, there's been a lot of public funding going into stadiums and arenas in Las Vegas lately. And quite frankly, mostly you and I are paying for it through tourist-related taxes. But in any case, that is now looking like the most likely outcome. There's a pretty good chance that this will be the last year of the Tropicana. So if you're a big fan of the Trop, it's probably not going to suddenly be called Bally's, because there's no point changing the name if you're going to knock the thing down. Been there since the 1950s. some of the oldest remaining pieces of the Las Vegas Strip. It's probably coming down, and that's where the stadium is going to go up on that site. And you really start looking at the sports stadiums, arenas in that area. It's really kind of mind-boggling. The parking situation is kind of mind-boggling with the baseball stadium right there, T-Mobile Arena basically diagonally across the street, and then just up the street, Allegiant Stadium. So we'll see if that comes to pass, but that seems now very likely. That would give Las Vegas 3 of the 4 major professional sports. And there continues to be rumors that when and if the NBA chooses to expand, it will go back to Seattle and into Las Vegas. There's also some pretty strong rumors that if it goes into Las Vegas, that LeBron James may be significantly part of that ownership group. But again, it's all sort of rumors there. Along the same lines, we have seen now more or less the transformation of Bally's Hotel into Horseshoe. There's still some signage there, and they really haven't changed a whole lot. But what is interesting is what most recently has been referred to as the Jubilee Tower at Horseshoe is actually going to be put under the auspices of the next door Paris Hotel and Casino. It will basically be their tower to operate, which is an interesting choice. So we'll see how that comes out, but not really much has changed at Horseshoe, a little bit on the casino floor and in some of the public areas, but otherwise kind of still looks the same. Along the same lines, the Mirage has not changed very much, even though it is now officially owned by the Hard Rock Group. And I believe it was likely there would have been some changes taking place during this calendar year, but because of another sporting event, that's probably not going to happen, at least until the end of this year, the first of 2024. And I speak, of course, of the Formula One race, which will be held in Las Vegas on November the 18th this year. If any of you have looked at possibly booking a trip to Las Vegas mid-November, you'll notice that room rates are not outrageous. They are absolutely absurd. I think for most people, they're not probably aware at just how big a deal Formula One is. I mean, this is the racing series for the jet set, and I suspect by and large these rooms are going to sell out at these ridiculous prices or come close to those prices. And I also suspect that Las Vegas is going to do a great job of hosting this, and there's a very good chance that they will be a fairly regular host site for Formula One races. It should be an amazing experience. They're literally going to be driving up and down the Las Vegas Strip. Well, actually only in one direction, because that's kind of how races work. They're making their way up and down the Strip there, across over just to the south of where Ellis Island is on Koval, and then they'll make their way back up to the north and come back around. And the race organizers, as well as the city of Las Vegas, was not terribly excited about the idea of the Mirage being all torn up prior to that. So that's probably the reason you're going to continue to see the volcano. You're going to continue to have a very similar Mirage experience, at least through the end of 2023. Now, there are a couple of major things, we'll call them things, that are planned to open in 2023 in Las Vegas. And the first is the MSG Sphere. And if you've been to Las Vegas recently, you've seen that giant sphere starting to look like something real, like it's going to turn into something. It is now planned to open in September. Apparently the first artists that'll be performing there are U2, and I think they're going to be there for a while once that opens up. I mean, this is I guess a $2.1 billion project. It's had numerous cost overruns. Jim Dolan with MSG, of course, also owns the New York Knicks, may they rest in peace, is involved in this, and there's been a lot of money. This is the most expensive project, I think, in Las Vegas, outside of maybe City Center so many years ago, even more expensive than Allegiant Stadium. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can make a go of the MSG Sphere, but it is supposed to be opening in September. One can only imagine the ticket prices, but hey, it's going to be one of those immersive experiences. Speaking of immersive and experiences, how many years has it been since we heard about the possibility of a giant new luxury hotel property on the north end of the Strip that would be known as the Fontainebleau? I think they still had helicopters back then, but I'm guessing we're looking back almost 15 years. They have announced recently plans to open that property by December of this year. So December, it's not as far off as you think. That's 7 months away. So you may soon be able to actually book a room at the Fontainebleau, and I encourage you to do so. It will be, I think, the largest hotel tower in the state of Nevada, in Las Vegas, once it's open. So not quite as tall as the Strat, but that's not really a hotel tower, now is it? So yeah, that's just some of the stuff that's going on in Las Vegas. And just keep in mind, if you are or have been a big-time player at the Mirage, definitely make sure that you check out their Players Club. They've been tier matching, and offering old MGM Rewards members some fairly generous prizes to go ahead and join them there. I don't know with that. I mean, it really does sound like once they start in on that project, it could involve, at least at some point, an actual hotel and casino shutdown, which we haven't really seen that lately. Most of the time when they've done these remodels in place, places like the Link, for example, or I guess the Cromwell did shut down. The Link, for example, the Palms, those have kind of taken place with the property remaining at least somewhat open. So yeah, Tropicana probably going away. So definitely get back there, check it out if you are a fan of the property, or if you just want one last look at it. Mirage, definitely take advantage of any tier matching you can get. Should be a good opportunity there. And then, take a look at Bally's, Horseshoe. And if you haven't, and many of us haven't, make sure you head out to the Palms, check out what they've done over the last couple of years. Check out Virgin Hotels out in the old Hard Rock site, see what they've been up to. But just a lot going on in Las Vegas. It has been a red letter year for the city in terms of tourism. As a result, by and large, the comp offers have not been spectacular for most people. I continue to get reasonably good deals on rooms at MGM and Caesars, but definitely people have reported that their offers have diminished somewhat in the last year or so. And that's kind of how it works. When Las Vegas is thriving, they don't have to sell themselves quite as much. So there you go. Wanted to, like I said, just wanted to cover some of the news topics. Obviously, the incredible growth of sports, professional sports in Las Vegas. I mean, I when I was first being aware of Las Vegas, it was, prize fights and maybe UNLV basketball. That was about it. And now you've got a, professional football team, an NHL team that is still involved in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So go Golden Knights. And apparently going to have a baseball team very soon, probably a basketball team by the end of this decade. And hey, let's give a big thumbs up to the Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA, who were the champions of the WNBA this past year, and look to have a really great lineup coming in again this year. We've got Formula One racing, and it's just going to be a spectacular year, and just wanted to clue everybody in on some of the things going on. Next week, we're going to be back with another episode of, I guess, Vegas Graduate School, talk about some ways to really get the most out of your Las Vegas experience. Will we be in a car sitting in a hatchback again? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. And of course, we'll be back Wednesday with another Las Vegas resort review on the Wednesday show. Until next week, I hope you all have a great, lucky, and healthy week, and we'll see you all again real soon. Bye-bye.